Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavave Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavave. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Chapter Human Composition is explaining the three personalities that we assume as human beings. We take a position of a waker at time. We take a position of a dreamer another time. Assume the personality of a deep sleeper. So when we say a human personality, it includes all the three personalities together. What is a human being? The waker, plus dreamer, plus deep sleeper. And his essential personality, the real nature, lies beyond the three assumed personalities. So there's waker, dreamer, and deep sleeper. It's not your real personality, it's an assumed personality. When you identify with the gross body, you take a position of a waker. The self identifies with the subtle body, you assume a position of a deep sleeper. When consciousness identifies with the causal body, you assume the position of a deep sleeper. I suppose you are all familiar with gross body, subtle body, causal body. Right. If not, go back to the previous class. When the consciousness identifies with the gross body, you assume a personality. This personality is together, this waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, is referred as microcosm, individual. When the same assumed once, but what is very interesting here is, at any point of time, you assume only one personality. At any given point, either you are a waker, or you are a dreamer, or you are a deep sleeper. You don't carry all the three together. See, like at any given point of time, either you are a child, youth, or old. At any given point. When you are a child, you are not old. When you are old, you are not child. Same way. When you are a waker, you are just a waker, that's all. When you are a dreamer, you are just a dreamer. That's it. When you are a deep sleeper, you are a deep sleeper. Deep sleep in the sense, dreamless sleep. The one who experiences the dreamless sleep is called a deep sleeper. The one who is experiencing the dream is the dreamer. The one who goes through the experience of the waking is a waker. So what is waker? Waker means, technically, who is a waker? Is it? Waker means this personality, which is consciousness plus gross body. Waker. technical explanation. Technically, you should know that this all, technical terms. That's about it. You don't have to worry about all these words, which is what is referred as Vishwa, individual, waker in Sanskrit. People will immediately ask, what is waker, dreamer, deep sleeper? You just see the textbook. You can see it is there. See that waker is this. Then you have a dreamer. The dreamer is Tejasa. Deep sleeper is Prajna. So Vishwa means waker. Tejasa is deep dreamer. Deep sleeper is Prajna. That's all. At any given point of time, you experience one and assume that to be real. This is the catch. The catch is this. When you are experiencing the waking world as a waker, you take that waker to be real and dreamer and deep sleeper to be unreal. And that is dismissed. You don't validate the experience of the dream. And definitely you don't have a clue of what is deep sleep. That is why, I won Olympics in yesterday night dream. So what? You don't take pride in that. You see, when you wake up, after waking up, you don't take pride that I stood state first. All India rank holder I am in, you don't get that. I got Nobel Prize. Yeah, yesterday night in the dream. You don't validate it. But what you have achieved in the waking as a waker, that is validated by you. That you say correct. That is real. Now, this is where the question comes. This is where this, great question posted by Janaka, the king. King Janaka, a very, very famous dream of his. The starting of Ashtavakra Gita. This is the beginning of that. Before that. One day, middle of the night, he woke up terrified. And he called the council of ministers. Because ministers in those days were supposed to be more intelligent than the king. So they're supposed to be more smarter than him. See, so he called the group of ministers and asked them a question. Then I had a dream. In the dream, I dreamt as a beggar, begging in the streets of the city, asking for alms and suffering from starvation. There's too much of starvation, thirst and starvation. There's suffering from that. And because of that pain, I woke up. And all these ministers were confused. You're woken up, no, what is your problem now? You see, now most of us also wake up like that and say, all that you have to do is what? Drink a glass of water and go back to sleep. Many times, the wife, they do it. The husband suddenly will wake up in the night and say, I will wake up. He'll say, what happened? He'll say, nothing. Okay, sleep now. Yes, have a glass of water and go to sleep. Problem solved. But, Janaka, what to tell? He's a king. So what to tell? Okay, then they're asking, okay, now what is the problem? You are woken up now. The problem is not that. Now the problem is, the problem now I have is, Am I Janaka dreamt as a beggar, or am I that beggar dreaming as a king now? Which is real now? And ministers always have a knack of explaining. As the king, so the prajas also will be. Whatever the condition of them will be the condition of those people also. Like that. This man, Janaka, what is the truth? Tell me. And all the ministers were looking at each other. They said, what is he asking? They didn't even understand the question first of all. They said, can you repeat the question? They said, yes, the question is, am I Janaka dreamt as a beggar, or am I beggar actually now dreaming as a king? And the ministers all gave answer, beautiful answer they gave. Like we had one great, teacher called Varya Swami. He used to tell one story. It was one of my favorite stories of his. It seems there was a kingdom where the young fellow was so lazy, he doesn't want to work. He just wants to eat and sleep. He was searching for a place for how to survive. Without doing any work, I want to live. How to do that? There are only two options for those people. First option is little difficult. The second option is easier. The first option is to go in search of a rich father-in-law. Only daughter. Get married to her. You don't have to do anything. Your father-in-law will do all the work. All that you have to do is what? This. That's little difficult. Slightly easier than that is go and join an ashram. See, you join ashram, two things are guaranteed to you: place and food. You will never have a problem for your place. You will never have a problem for food. All this fellow wants is a place to sleep, food to eat, without doing any work. So he went and searched for a popular Swami. You can't go and join any ashram. So he came to this city. In this city, this Swami was very popular, this guru. So he went and prostrated to him and said, take me as your disciple. And that guru was not getting any disciple. So he said, okay, join. Anyway, nobody is coming to him. So he said, okay, join. All are welcome. So he joined. And there are a few others who had joined him earlier. But this guy knows the knack. He quickly became the chief disciple. And chief disciple means what? The tradition in this country is, whenever they go to meet a guru, they take, food, fruits, sweets, and, goodies and all that, they carry with them. That accounts for why all the gurus are fat, solid, heavy. We feed them. That's why they are. It's not their fault. It's our fault. We feed them like that. So keep feeding them. So whenever that comes, this guru is very sweet. He is a very genuine guru. What he used to do is they'll bring a plate of fruits and sweets and all that. They'll keep it under his feet. He will push it aside. As soon as he pushes this fellow standing behind him, he will take that and eat. He will take, and whatever is left out will be distributed to other disciples. So he would eat. Afternoon, he will go to sleep. This has been his tradition. Morning, they'll come. Somebody will come. They will give something. The guru will not eat. He will push it aside. They will eat. And he will go to sleep. And the king of that state is a brilliant fellow. You will see how brilliant he is. And he had one, in those days, the kings always held one bell in the entrance of the palace. So if there is any requirement, anyone wants justice can come and ring the bell. If they ring the bell, means the king will attend to that case and give justice to the justice to the case. The bell was not rang in his country at all. Never. It's been ages. One day, he heard that bell and he got so excited. My God, all these days I never got a chance. Today I got a chance to do justice. So he came out. He saw one young lady standing there. He said, "What is this?" He said, What is the case? He said, "Yesterday, my husband went to work in the night, and his job is to break open the houses and steal. This is his job. He went yesterday to work. When he wanted to jump over the wall, he climbed that wall and the wall collapsed. He fell and the bricks fell on him. He died. So when he went to steal, now this lady wants to file a case on that fellow who built it, the house owner. If he would have built that wall properly, my husband wouldn't have been dead now. I wouldn't have become a widow now. Therefore, give justice to me. I want compensation from that house owner." And the king immediately called the house owner. That's the brilliance of the king. He called the house owner and said, "Hey, how can you do that?" And the house owner knows the king's intelligence. The house owner said, "To build that wall, I gave only money. Wall was not built by me. It is done by the mason. If that mason would have done his job properly, this wouldn't have happened. So the mason did not do the job properly. Therefore, it is not my fault. It is mason's fault. So catch hold of the mason." Caught hold of the mason now. The mason came. Said, "Sir, there is a proportion we have always. Sand mixing with the cement. Water, sand, and cement will mix. The mix is not done by me. The mix is done by this fellow, that boy, my assistant. Catch the assistant." Assistant came. "Sir, my boss has given me the thing. We have a pot. Based on that pot's measurement only, he tells 2:1:2. This is the proportion. I'm just giving it. Don't go out and say, I'm not an engineer. Okay. The civil engineers, will file a case on you. 2 bags of cement, 1 bag of sand, and 2 pitcher water. Pour. The problem is the size of this is not perfect. The pot size is not perfect. So, for the death of this man, who is responsible? The potter is responsible. And they call the potter. The potter said, "Sir, it's not my fault. When I was sitting outside my house making the pot, I saw one young maiden walking up and down. She distracted me. Therefore, the measurement got wrong. So it's not my fault. It's the fault of that lady." And they called that lady. Said, "Hey, why are you walking up and down?" And that lady said, "Sir, it's not my fault. I had given my jacket for stitching to the tailor. The tailor didn't give it properly on time. If it had given me on time, I don't have to go up and down. I was going up and down only to collect it from him. Therefore, it is his mistake." And the fellow caught hold of the tailor now. The tailor, "Hey, what is this?" The tailor said, "Sir, it's not my fault. The fault is that boy who is supposed to stitch the hooks, He did not stitch it on time. Therefore, it is his fault. So who has to be punished? This fellow should be punished. So he called, he said, this boy is a mistake, and the boy didn't know what to do. He was simply standing there in the court in front of everyone. They said, now what? Justice is what? This fellow should be hanged to death tomorrow. And the news came to these people. And the news started spreading everywhere. And it is happening, and all this. And everyone got so excited, so worried. So they went to the Guru also. Now, meanwhile, what happened is this fellow was taken to hang. When they took the boy to hang him, the soldiers got into trouble. The trouble was the rope length and the height of the boy is not matching. Now, what to do? There was a confusion. The fellow should be hanged. No. To hang, you need that length, right? Now, this boy is too small. Now, what to do? And it became a big issue, and everybody was standing. And the ministers also were standing. Everyone was confused. What to do now? What to do? What to do now? The king comes in this horse. The fellow comes. And majestically he gets on. He says, what's the confusion? They said, sir, the confusion is it's not. You idiots. This is why you need a king like me. If you cannot find the rope, find a man who fits into the rope size. And what is the rope size? They searched. And they found this man who was lying, after having the food in that ashram, fitting perfectly to the height. And the size was perfect for him. They brought that fellow, they were about to hang that fellow now. That is a time, the Guru walks in. He sees the whole thing, he understands. Now what to do? He has to save the country, What to do? He said, O king, he is my student. Okay, I want to do good to him. So don't hang him now. Wait for another 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, you hang him. Doesn't matter. I'm not saying don't hang him. Hang that fellow. But do it after 5 minutes. The king says, why? That graha positions are going to change in 5 minutes now. The fellow who dies now gets an opportunity to become Indra. He becomes the king of the heavens. I want my Sishya to become king for the Devas. Therefore, hang him after 5 minutes. The king gets so annoyed. How dare you give that opportunity to your... Who should be given the first chance like this? Me. He said, hang me. This is the brilliance of people. Janaka is not like this king. Janaka is a brilliant fellow. He asked the question. The ministers couldn't understand what he is asking. He said, find out an answer. I want an answer to this. They didn't know how to resolve it. And they went and approached this young Swami. He's just about 12 years old boy, actually. Young boy. Ashtavakra. Just a young boy he was. 12-year-old. This man who went up to him, he said, don't worry, I will come and resolve the doubt of your king. Go and tell him. And Ashtavakra comes into the assembly. Janaka reverentially receives him and asks the same question. Am I Janaka who dreamt as a beggar? Or am I that beggar dreaming to be the king now? Ashtavakra gave an outstanding reply. He said, neither. You are neither the king nor that beggar. You are neither a waker, nor dreamer, nor deep sleeper. You are that pure self. Because of your long association with this equipments, you have assumed yourself to be this waker, dreamer, deep sleeper. Severe that association with the equipments, you would recognize you are none of these things. Get over this belief that I am this body, I am this mind, I am this intellect. Get out of this. Get out of this prison. But the problem is that long association doesn't allow us to get out. We start believing that we belong to that place. Association, like that movie, Shashank Redemption. A fellow who was in the prison for 40 years is released. After 40 years, he gets a release. And he comes out, he takes a job in a shop. In the shop, he goes and asks the manager, can I drink water? Says. The manager gets really annoyed. What nonsense. Just want to drink water, go and drink. No. Yes. Then the fellow comes. Can I use a washroom? He says, hey, don't keep asking for everything, man. Just go and do it. He gets really confused. How can we do that? Why? For 40 years, if he has to drink water, he has to take permission first. If he has to go and use the restroom, he has to take permission first. He can't just walk. Now, suddenly they say, you walk. He couldn't. And the fellow commits suicide. This man, so sad to see. When he was in the prison, he doesn't commit suicide. It feels almost impossible to live in this free world because he can't conceive. Beautiful, picturization of human, status. It's the same status here. The scriptures keep saying. Ashtavakra says, your association. You are associated with it so much so. Like one day, Mullah Nasruddin's wife came furious from the market. She came back furious and she was throwing all the vegetables. She said, you can't trust people in this country. So bad they are. What happened? I saw one man hanging a placard on his neck, born blind. And I gave him 5 paise. I gave. And that fellow replied, stating, he told me, oh, beautiful lady, may you live long life. The fellow, how dare? And Mullah replied, stating what? There are 2 blind men in this country. I thought I was the only blind fellow. It's not. What is this? Association. You associate with what? You associate constantly with what others say about you, isn't it? How much we have that association. We have no understanding about ourselves. Now, any understanding that you have about you is based on what others are telling about you to yourself. You don't have an understanding about you. What are you? I have no idea. All my idea about myself is nothing but a collection of ideas of others about me. That's where so much of conflict we have in this. Because each one gives one thing. One fellow says, oh, you are brilliant. Another fellow says, you are such an idiot. Now, I subscribe to both. I take this, I take that also. When I'm taking both, now I get confused. What I am now? Am I intelligent or I am dumb? Am I beautiful or am I ugly? Am I good or am I bad? Am I genuine or cunning? One fellow says, he is such a cunning fellow. Another fellow says, such a genuine person you are. Now, what are you? You don't carry knowledge about you, based on you. All that knowledge that you have about yourself is based on what others tell about you, and you take that. That is why we want to appear good, not be good. All the effort that we put in, even you call it a so-called spiritual, I want to get better, I want to grow, I want to have self-development. You can use very many words. You can use, all beautiful terminologies. Essentially, all the terminologies that you are using is what? To appear good in the eyes of the others. You don't want to be good. You don't want to be good. I want to be better according to others. Yeah, Ishwaran is a good teacher. That's what I want. Therefore, what? All the effort is put in to teach the best. Effort is put in. For what? So that people will say, yeah, he is a good teacher. That's where confusion comes. Why? Because one person will say good, another person will say bad. What nonsense he is talking. One person will say. Another person is going to say how beautiful it is. One fellow says so clear, another person says so confusing. Both I subscribe, both I accept, both I take inside. Now what I am? That confusion comes. That's why he moves to the next topic, next chapter. He moves on to the study of self-analysis. Do that self-analysis. Now, in between, in the discussion of this waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, there is one more idea. Theoretical, of course. There are some theoreticals, certain technical things you have to know. Having said that, you are studying a particular subject, you have to know that. Like we saw, individual waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, same way, they take the aggregate of waker, aggregate dreamer, aggregate deep sleeper. Aggregate means total. All wakers, all dreamers, all deep sleepers. That all waker, dreamer, deep sleeper is called cosmic waker, cosmic dreamer, cosmic deep sleeper. How that comes about? Same way. How waker came? Individual gross body, waker. Total gross bodies. What is the necessity to study that? You can understand as we go along. But right now you want to remember this. So there are two things. I think it is there in this. Just see the board now. You see here, there is a individual gross body creates a waker. Individual subtle body creates a dreamer. Individual causal body creates a deep sleeper. This waker, dreamer, deep sleeper is microcosm. Then all the total gross bodies are there. You see, very many gross bodies are there. Now the total gross bodies put together is cosmic waker, Virat. It is typed as Vishwa. It's not Vishwa, it is Virat. There is a typing error. Vishwa is an individual waker. This is wrong there. So kindly make the correction. Right. This thing was given in the wrong way. This Vishwa, Taijasa, Prajna is given in the wrong way. It's not being corrected. So cosmic waker is not Vishwa, it is Virat. Then total subtle body creates cosmic dreamer. That is known as Hiranyagarbha. Then consciousness functioning through the total causal body creates a cosmic deep sleeper called Ishvara. So Ishvara means cosmic deep sleeper. Hiranyagarbha is cosmic dreamer. Virat is cosmic waker. This cosmic waker, cosmic dreamer, cosmic deep sleeper put together is called a macrocosm. This microcosm and the macrocosm together forms the world. So when we say world, what we refer to is macrocosm plus microcosm. Why do you have to study that? Why do you have to know and all? We will see later. Don't worry about it right now. Okay. Right now, concentrate only with reference to the individual. In a way, it is good. It's not, there is a typing error there. Forget it. But you have to know. Why do you have to know? What is the relevance of this? How that will help you to understand certain concepts, certain ideas in philosophy will come later on when we go to later portion of part B and part C. Right. So right now there is no direct application of this. Direct application, as far as you are concerned, comes in only with reference to individual. So right now for you, focus only on the waker, dreamer, deep sleeper. That's about it. There's no necessity for you to know that. Essentially, all that refers is only this. A drop of water is microcosm. The entire ocean is macrocosm. Whether it is a drop or ocean doesn't make a difference. It is water. Isn't it? Essentially, what is it? It is only water. That's all. That is the pure consciousness. That consciousness that you are essentially is that. So all that you have to do is what? That all pervading consciousness. How we say it is all pervading? We have seen that already. On what basis you say consciousness is all pervading? That we have seen that. Okay. Wherever, I don't remember exactly in which class we did it, but I do remember we had done analysis. How are we saying? Now that pure consciousness is your essential nature, means if you have to understand that real nature of yours, which is obscure to you today, which is not known to you today, about which you are ignorant today, you have to gain that knowledge. From where you have to start is where the next chapter begins. Self-analysis. The chapter. This chapter is the foundation of your spiritual journey. Remember this. Okay. So many things you need to be aware of when you are pursuing this. So the first thing that we say, I am ignorant of my real nature, then what knowledge I have to gain to combat that ignorance? If I am ignorant of German language, I have to study what? German. I can't study Sanskrit and become expert in German language. Remember this example. You see, that the ignorance and that antidote, which is knowledge, there has to be a link between the two. If there is no link between the two, that knowledge will not remove ignorance. Right now, you are ignorant of what? You are ignorant of your real nature. So, your knowledge also should be with reference to what? About your nature. You have to gain that knowledge about your nature. No point in gaining other knowledges. Any other knowledge that you gain is not yours. Now comes the problem for us. Here immediately what we'll do, okay, now I'm going to analyze myself. I have to do the self-analysis. Let us all start the self-analysis. Remember, Vedanta is an experimental science. You have to experiment. If you're not willing for experimentation, you are not qualified for spiritual. Experiment means what? Experimentation means you are not sure about the outcome. Like those who volunteered themselves to take that first vaccine. Experimentation, is it not? There's no guarantee. Anything can happen to those people. Of course, there are protection. There are some ethical protections are given, legal protections are given, medical protections are given, financial protection is given to those people. All that is done by the research institutions. They take care of all those aspects, no doubt about it. But still, I have no clue what is going to happen to me. And still, I go about it. That is called experiment. Where you are not sure about the outcome and still you go through the process. Similarly, when you say that I am going to do the self-analysis, you will never know what is the outcome. It is not that you prefix the outcome and then search. You see, then it is not search at all, actually speaking. That's what we call it as research. Research means what, sir? Research. Searching again. Searching again. Searching again. Again and again, I go on searching for it. That is called a research. You see, same way, when I want to know about myself, you say self-analysis, you need to understand all this. Why do you have to go for self-analysis? Now, suddenly from human composition, he is jumping to self-analysis. Why? Without that foundation of theoretical ideas, generally about what is a human being, to come to you as an individual would not be possible. But here again, we make a mistake. What is the mistake? The mistake is we do self-analysis only to find out where I am right and where I am wrong. If at all you do any analysis, you do that self-analysis only based on, for what? Only to establish whether what you did or what you are going to do. Am I doing it rightly, sir? People come and ask questions only on this. What am I to do? Vedanta says, I don't care. Who cares what you do? That's not the point at all. Now, you can't tell that to people. Why? They can't understand. Why? What do you mean? It doesn't make any difference. Then immediately they start giving all extreme examples. So you mean to say that I plant a bomb. Does it matter? I say it doesn't matter so long you are not planting it in my apartment. That's the only answer I can give. What else to say to these people? They say sin is not in the action, it's in the reaction. You can't digest that idea. Sin is not in the action. It is an action that you perform, as a result of which you get disturbed mentally. That's called a sin. It's not in the action, it's in the reaction. It's in your mental reaction. Anything you do, if it immediately they give is this example. So you mean to say that a person, and earlier and now they used to say a fellow steals, murder. Now even the example they give all, terrorist, child raping, he doesn't feel guilty. So you mean to say he is correct? What is the answer I have to give? You're not ready for certain discussions. Therefore, what we'll say, yeah, that is wrong. And the fellow doesn't even understand that I have contradicted my own statement. I said, it is not in the action. It is not in the action. We can't understand it because we live our life in the plane of physical action. Since we live in the plane of action, we always try to do any analysis. Means you always think in terms of, did I do it right or wrong? What I did was right or wrong? Whether it is legally right, ethically right. That's all we worry about. Nowadays, we don't care about ethical. As long as it is legally correct, it doesn't make any difference. So what? Legally, can you? Because today Supreme Court has to give a judgment whether there is God or not. You see, if the Supreme Court judge says there is God, then we all agree, yes, there is God. Why? Supreme Court judge himself accept. Shankara says, Shankarana useless. No. Ramanuja useless. They are not. Whose authority? Supreme Court judge the authority today. For everything you have to go to Supreme Court. That too only Supreme Court you have to go. High Court gives also, we don't. We go for appeal. We go for appeal. Where are we living now? Is we are living in the plane of action, expression, doing. So we identify ourselves as more of a doer, physical, nothing more than that. Therefore, what happens when you do self-analysis? First temptation you will have is to do analysis with reference to right and wrong. You may ask Ishwaran, what is wrong in that? Don't we have to know right and wrong? The problem is you are going to be judging right and wrong with reference to my understanding of what is right and what is wrong. See, I have an understanding of what is right and what is wrong. Each one of us have got our own. It's only a difference. According to me, what I understand as right is right. What I understand as wrong is wrong. Obviously, it's not correct. Obviously, this is correct. I have certain things like that, and you have certain things like that. Now, action is here, and your understanding is there. So, you are going to be making analysis based on what? Your choices were defined. Your choices were analyzed. Based on what? Your sense of right, your sense of wrong. And your sense of right and your sense of wrong is based on? That is based on what? Immediately the fellow said, that is based on my experience. Right? Like they say, sir, what is the secret of your success? The fellow says, right decision. What is the secret of your right decisions? Wrong decisions. The wrong decisions are given. So if at all you have to learn anything in life, what you have to do? Make all mistakes. Take all wrong decisions. That's a learning platform, no? On what basis you are having? self-analysis doesn't concentrate on your judgment of action. It goes to the judgment of your sense of right and wrong. On what basis I have come to this conclusion that this is right, this is wrong. The sense of appropriateness, sense of my choices. How appropriate my choices are in life. That is the question we ask. So the self-analysis, we start here with this idea. On what basis? Don't worry about whether you are right and wrong. That's not the point here. So the first thing you understand is self-analysis. And why do you have to do the self-analysis? Why it is difficult? Because a mind by nature is extroverted. Naturally, the mind will go outward. That's the design of it. By nature, it does that. That extroverted nature of the mind should be turned introvert. And when you turn that extroverted mind introverted, it will carry the same properties of extroverted inside also. It will not do anything else. So the starting point of your spirituality is when you take that turn, you have taken the first step in spiritual. The turning point is the self-analysis. The chapter self-analysis, it gives why this self-analysis to be taught to you. Because by nature, your mind will analyze extroverted. That introversion will not come for mind naturally. If mind were to get naturally introverted, we don't require a scripture to come and tell us, you have to turn introverted. There's no need. All of us will become introvert, automatically it is. I will start looking within. I cannot look within today. Why? This mind's nature is extrovert, is to run outside, to run outward. It's running outward, it's running outward. What others are doing, what he is doing, what she is doing, what's happening here, what's happening there. Constantly it will go out. That's the design of it, that's the nature of it. Why and all you can't argue. Why is it like that? You can't argue. That's how it is. Now to turn that mind, which is running outside, to turn inside, that starting point is the point of the moment of inspiration. We do get such moments in life. There are certain moments of inspiration that comes to everyone. See, the choice, the chance is given to every human. Nature provides that opportunity to who can't. The one who clinches that and stays. How can you clinch and stay there is what understanding is needed. Otherwise, everybody gets. Like every one of us have seen a dead body, right? But we don't turn Buddha because of that. You see, when Siddhartha, when he was coming out, his chariot, he asked his chariot, why are they carrying the man who's sleeping? That's a question he asks. He doesn't even ask dead because he doesn't even know he's dead. He thinks that man is sleeping. Why they are carrying a sleeping man? He asks. To which the charioteer says, sir, he's dead. He's not sleeping. Say, what do you mean dead? Means that's all. Life is over. Yeah. Then Siddhartha asked him, you mean to say that all of us will die? Yes. Said everybody dies one day. Correct. You mean to say that I will also die one day? Yes. What are you doing? That inquiry defines the whole thing. That is what Janaka did. That is what that Sufi mystic, Ibrahim, he did that. A famous mystic. He was a king. Before he became a, the mystic, that Sufi. He was a king. One day when he was sleeping in the palace, he heard a noise on his roof. Some noise, he heard. He was so disturbed. He got up and he asked, what is the noise? Who is that? Who's there? And a voice came. I'm sorry, sir. I came here searching for what I have lost. The fellow asked, what is that what are you searching for? He said, I am searching for my camel, he said. He said, are you mad? To go in search of a camel in the rooftop? To which the voice replied, if you can search for happiness in the palace, in the richness, in the pleasures of world, I can find a camel in the roof also. The king woke up. Immediately he called the gods and said, catch that fellow. Catch that guy. The whole gods, ran to catch that fellow. They got. But all that he said is what? Camel on the roof. What are you doing? You listen to the talk. You say, very good example, sir. And then what you are also doing? Same thing. Search for the camel on the roof. That's the self-analysis. The self-analysis is to turn introvert, to look within. That inquiry into yourself says. That is self-analysis. Inquire into yourself. Inquire into yourself doesn't mean immediately, am I doing the right thing or am I doing the wrong thing? It's not that place. It's not your action. Are you thinking right? What is your value in life? Janaka also had that. He had the dream, but he didn't leave that. Buddha also saw. We have also seen. Janaka also had dreams. We also had dreams. You see, but nothing happens as a consequence of it. The inquiry has to be this. All darkness. Self-inquiry. Colorful Swami, we say. 20 seconds it goes off. And the light comes, you get a different color here now. Man. Who am I? That's the inquiry. Self-analysis means to have that self-awareness of what is happening inside you, what is happening outside, what is happening inside. That inquiry, to keep it going constantly as to what is my thoughts, what am I feeling, what is my experience, how am I experiencing whatever I'm experiencing, what is that I'm really valuing in life. Yeah, of course, God, but this is also important. No, but Ramatirtha says you can't serve two masters. You can't serve God and devil together. Not possible. But all of us have this tendency to do what? To oscillate. Now, self-inquiry, the search is not to be taken as I am fed up with world. Now I want to turn away from it. Remember this. Don't wait for getting fed up with world. Many a times we believe, that's what a lot of them think, to turn to spiritual, you need some experience. A lot of them ask me, what is that has happened to turn you to spiritual? I said, nothing has happened. Is there any miracle happened to you around the Swamiji? Nothing has happened. Last 30 years, nothing has happened. So, because we want what? Something like that should happen. I saw him and suddenly, he was just, walking out of his body. So I saw two gurus standing there. One guru standing, another guru floating in the air. As I'm talking to you, I saw what you saw a few minutes before this is because of what? Power cut. I do remember one lady, a long time, not now, a lady, long time back here, Bangalore. She used to come to class and sit right in front of me. I was just 20, 25, 26 that time. So she was sitting, she would sit first. Anytime I go, she would always come early to me, to the class. Very sincere. Fortunately, lady, so no issues. So she would come and sit in the class. Even after class, she will not get up and go. She will sit, wait till I get up and go. After, a few classes, about few months, one day she told me, I started adjusting my dhoti now. What now? You sit in front of me and keep on looking, staring, feel uncomfortable. You say, what is that? I saw. I say, what do you saw? I saw behind you. I literally turned. I thought somebody is there, I saw, what is there behind? I saw it today. That is the last class I had in that house. After I didn't go to the house for the class, I cancelled. These people should be either keep them away or you keep away. Easy for me to do is to keep away from them. This is how, image just gets built to people. Like that, if I get to, 10 people were to keep saying, I saw something, I saw something, I saw something. And you think, something like that should happen for you to turn to spiritual. It's not. You don't wait for something to happen to turn introvert, to turn within. Don't wait for the knocks and shocks of life to wake you up. It's not the right way to go about it. Don't wait for a miracle to happen to turn introvert. Wrong. Don't wait for the pain of life to turn you to spiritual. Or else we experience, pain. Like my friend's, grandmother asked me, and I told her, I'm going to ashram to study. Pass pantiye, she said. I passed my exam. You passed it, no, then why do you want to go? Her thinking of going to ashram means you should be a failure in life. It was a belief. Either failure in this or, love failure. Some failure should have been there. Some pain you should have experienced in life for you to turn to spiritual. Or some, miracle must have happened in your life and you turn spiritual. Now, that's not please. There's nothing of that. Now, When Janaka had the dream, it's just an ordinary experience. When Buddha saw the dead body, he said it's a day-to-day experience. There's nothing extraordinary. Remember, there's nothing mystical. What he saw is the same thing as what we saw also. It's the same thing that Charity also saw. Isn't it? In fact, Charity had a better understanding than Siddhartha. But that transformed Siddhartha, not the Charity who educated Siddhartha. And Siddhartha transformed to become Buddha. The Charity's name also we don't know. There's nothing has to happen, please. Don't wait for the world or something from the world to make you take a turn. Take that U-turn. You take the turn. You take that conscious turn. That turn is self-analysis. The chapter title itself is superb. The rest of the chapter is a very different one. I like the title. Self-analysis. And in that self-analysis, what are you supposed to do? Inquire into yourself. You're supposed to do the inquiry into you. Into you means what? Don't inquire into your action. You see, don't do that mistake. If at all you do that inquiry, inquire into your emotions, inquire into your desires, inquire into your conviction, your values, your beliefs. That's the starting point of self-inquiry, self-analysis. Your starting point cannot be or should not be inquiry into what am I doing, my actions. It is not. Remember this. I'll explain in the next class. Hari Om.